Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Please make sure you hit thumbs up and hit subscribe to the channel. Andrew Musgrove here. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm outside of St. James Park on this lovely sunny Friday afternoon, and we're going to talk about the future of St. James's Park, because one of our colleagues at the Chronicle has managed to catch up with Lisa Nandy, who's the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, and managed to ask her whether Labour would back Newcastle United in a regeneration scheme around St. James Park, or indeed a new site, in a similar way that they pledged support to Manchester United and the regeneration scheme down at Old Trafford. So this is what she had to say.
I've spoken to Kim McGuinness, the Mayor, who is obviously very, very keen to make sure that the North East gets its fair share of funding to help with regeneration, to create jobs, to create growth, and we're really keen to support her in that ambition. In relation to the Newcastle project in particular, we take the same approach as we took to the Old Trafford regeneration. We're keen to support, we want to see it go ahead. Obviously it will depend on the club and on the amount of investment that they can attract, but what we're working to do is to make Britain a very attractive place for people to invest through a series of measures, including economic stability, but also including the Football Governance Bill, which is currently in Parliament, which provides stability and certainty around ownership, around financial flow in the game, about putting fans back at the centre of the game, which we think will help to attract good owners to come and invest more here.
There we have it, the words of Lisa Nandy, and I think it's important that we just set the background to that question. So a few months ago, Manchester United announced that they had government backing for a regeneration scheme around Old Trafford. Then a couple of months after that, they announced plans for a new Old Trafford, which looks a bit like a circus tent, and again the government backed that. Now, just like with the quote there from Lisa Nandy that you saw, there's no actual real detail on what government support looks like. What does government backing actually entail? Is it finance? Is it cutting taxes to make foreign investors want to invest in the United Kingdom? Is it lifting red tape when it comes to planning regulations? We just don't know. And that's one thing I would really encourage the government to actually do, is to be clear on what support looks like, because without that detail it really does open a vacuum and you get negative reactions, you get people jumping to conclusions which might not actually be the final truth. But without that detail, we just don't know what support looks like. Now, people will be saying, well, when Manchester United announced government backing, I did a video and was very angry indeed about the news of that government support, and I stand by that video. I stand by it, because I don't think football clubs should be getting any financial support from the government, if indeed that is what it is. Again, we don't know, we're just speculating at this point, and I stand by that. Even if Newcastle United got backing from the government and it was monetary, I wouldn't be comfortable with that, because I think there's other areas of the city and region which would benefit from that, the same as it would be in the northwest. There's other projects that would benefit from a monetary support from the government. We have to say there's no suggestion whatsoever that the club would go after any financial support from the government, just as much as there's no suggestion that that is what would be on offer. My gut feeling would suggest that it's probably likely to be removing red tape when it comes to regulation. Maybe a little bit of money, but not a huge amount of finance to help these projects get off the ground. A little bit of support, but again, it's all speculation. But really interesting that Lisa Nandy did go on the record and say they would support a regeneration scheme here, just as they are going to do in Manchester. And again, we don't know what the club are going to do. Are they going to stay here at St. James's Park and try and expand, and then this area becomes part of that scheme? Who knows? Are they going to be at Leazes Park and build a 65,000-70,000 seater stadium, and then the area around there gets regenerated? We just don't know. We'd all love to know, but I'm not against them taking the time and making sure they get the decision right. Hopefully we find out in the next couple of months exactly what the future holds for Newcastle United's home. But let me know what you thought there about Lisa Nandy's comments. Good on one hand that she's pledged the same support to Newcastle United as she has Old Trafford. Good that Kim McGuinness is fighting as well. She's of course the Mayor of this region, that she's fighting for that government support, which I think is really, really key. And I guess, look, some of you might say, if there is financial support to be had and the government are willing to pay that to Manchester United, to Newcastle United, then the club would be daft not to take it. If it's there on the table and it's there to help these schemes, which will in turn help the community, and boost the community and bring jobs and new houses and what have you, then actually, yeah, it's probably a good pot to get your hand into and to spend the money to make sure that scheme does benefit more people in the city and in the region. So it might not be the worst thing to take some financial support if indeed it is what is on offer, but again, we just don't know. Hopefully we find out more details in time, but let me know in the comments your thoughts, and I'll see you guys very soon.